So one of my favorite subjects is algebra. It's kind of weird. I started off being extremely good student in arithmetic. And I remember all through elementary, my teachers used to say, you have to learn this stuff because when you get to algebra, that's all they used to say. They used to always tell us, yeah, because once you learn this stuff, then you're going to have to start solving for letters. And that just used to confuse me. Like, how in the world are we going to solve for letters? And math is about numbers. That's before I understood the big picture. So in the 7th grade, I was still taking an arithmetic type of course. And what happened by the end of the year is we took some standardized tests and I scored pretty high on it. So they skipped me into algebra the following year. All right, the following year. I started off all right in the course, but then I missed maybe a day or two of school. I was ill. And when I came back, they were on letters. They were doing 1-2-step equations. I was totally lost after that. Algebra was the first time I made an F in math. So I had to take algebra twice, 2 times. Second time around, though, I was on point. So I don't know why I failed it the first time. I did. It is what it is. So I'm in a position where I can kind of see it from your mindset. So this was the video that I sped up earlier. All these arrows and stuff. This is where I want to really get to right here. We're going to get to that part because that part is really the beauty of algebra right there. So we're looking at unlike fractions because we have 2 different denominators. That means you cannot go 2 plus 1 is equal to 3. You can't do it, just like you cannot do 3 plus 5 is equal to 8. All right? So I'm not going to go into showing how I find the least common multiple, but I think we know what the least common multiple is between 3 and 5. The least common multiple is 15. So the goal is, how do we get 15 for our denominators? If we're thinking about how to do this, the way we do it is by multiplying the bottom by 5, which means we have to multiply the top by that 5. And over here, if we're thinking about how, is by multiplying by 3. So remember, that's the 5 that we had to come over here and use. See that? And that's the 3 that we took over there. So for me, the way I was able to really master this concept, I understand how I learn things or how I process it through movement and stuff. Like I see it moving around, so that's why I'm drawing arrows. And the more I get used to how things move, I'm quicker. So part of it is you got to understand how you process information and just work on what makes sense to you, but will still get you to the right result. All right. Can't do what makes sense to you and get you to a wrong result. So I'm multiplying. I got 10 over 15. Over here I have 3 over 15. 10 over 15 plus 3 over 15. And there we go. 10 over 15 plus 3 over 15 is 13 over 15. All right. That's how we do it in arithmetic. But I really want you to focus on what we did, not the numbers, what we did. So now we're at the algebra, right? Not only do we focus on numerical, we focus on variable also, all right? And we talk about variables and its operations: addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division. So we're looking at unlike fractions because that fraction denominator is not the same as that fraction denominator, all right? They're unlike fractions. So let's keep it simple. Don't worry about what these letters mean. Just know and go off the fact that we do not have the same denominator. All right. That's all you got to know. We do not have the same denominator. How do I get them to match up? So this one is going to come this way. And that denominator is going to go that way. I love when I do that step, I always get that question, why? But you got to watch it play out first, because normally if you watch something play out to the very next step, it'll kind of reveal itself as to why you just did it, all right? So I'm going to put everything in alphabetical order. If I multiply these 2 together, remember, we don't worry about the result. We just put them down because we're talking about variables now, That's one of them. And here's the other one where we got a CB, BD, because we're putting them in order, all right? I want you to look at the bottom now. Common denominator. You get what I'm saying? That's why we do that. And don't get confused on the numerator. I have AD plus CB. If you worry about what those letters mean, you're going to always confuse yourself. Don't worry about it. Just write AD plus CB, and that's what you write over there. So there is a time where you do want to kind of put focus into what does this variable mean and what is its value. The purpose of this problem is to understand the process. It's not necessarily to calculate, it's to understand how to use your operations to maneuver. So if we look at this, this is actually a language and it's telling us something. It's telling us to multiply A times D and add it to C times B and then divide all of that by B times D. So I'm going to say it again. Here we go. A times D plus C times B over B times D. A times D plus C times B over B times D. Yeah, so that one had like some rhythm to it when I said it, and it started making me see how everything was moving. So I'm going to start pointing the arrows back around so you can see exactly how I was able to get it that quick. So we had A times D, C times B, and B times D. And so the A times D is where that comes from there. That one is where this comes from. And then those two are down there. It's movement. So I've heard it referred to as crisscross smile, and what I mean by that is they crisscross and smile. See what I'm saying? That's what they do, crisscross smile. And everything's pointing at what should be multiplied together. So by doing your crisscross smile, you have AD plus CB over BD, just like that. And this works every single time you're adding or subtracting two fractions. I hope that helped connect, fractions and arithmetic to fractions in algebra. Make sure you go to my bio. I have a link to my YouTube channel there. I'm going to stop putting these in my highlights. And so after today, they disappear.